This is my June 5th trade recap where I lost 500 USD. This trade was taken off of accumulation. I'm going to clarify here. Price generally accumulated in this area, or that's how I interpreted it. Um, Price seemed to fluctuate within this general area. There were order blocks, highs, lows, but for the most part, this area is what I thought of as an accumulation, and perhaps I was right, but that's at least how I interpreted it. I took this trade off of a liquidity sweep here. As you can see, price breaks structure to the upside, and then price goes down over up here, although the order block should have been all the way down here because this is all one move. But I put the order block all the way up here. Price retraced down, and then or price retraced down, came back into the order block. I took that as my sign to go. I set my stop loss right here, and then I set my take profit, I believe, below here. My stop loss here, my take profit here, with about a 2 to 3 to 1 risk to reward ratio trade. And this trade, I also neglected order block, although I used it indirectly. I pretty much neglected it as well as I did with equilibrium. And there were several reasons that I lost this trade. The first one is that I didn't have a clear daily bias. Price was in a general downtrend, but then price appeared to break structure to the upside here. I really don't have a very good system for knowing when price has officially broken structure, and a good way to tell whether or not that's just a retracement. As I can see here, this just appeared to be a retracement, and it actually was. This appeared to be a retracement as well, but at least so far it's proving not to be. It's also possible that this here is just a huge retracement, and in theory, if I never had a stop loss, price would hit my take profit eventually. Although I would never, although I would never trade without a stop loss. That's in theory what I believe could have happened. It's also because I just use my bias pretty terribly, and that's going to give me the slant against, or that's just not gonna do me any favors. Another reason that I lost this trade was because I neglected my secondary confluences like equilibrium. I didn't know where to place equilibrium here, and from here all the way to here. I suppose that would have been within the margins, but it never really goes out of equilibrium. And especially if the swing high was all the way up here, I would have been in a discounted price range, which would have been bad for shorting because I would have taken the trade right here, which is still in a discount, bad for shorting. So maybe if I had equilibrium, I would have waited and then realized that the trade was likely a mistake and that my findings in daily bias is flawed, and I wouldn't have taken the trade. I also had a lot of medium impact news on Forex Factory, several unemployment claims, etc. Nothing like CPI, NFP, FOMC, um, PPI, nothing high impact, but just a lot of medium impact news, which is why I chose to de-risk the trade, which I'm glad I did. And I just feel like with accumulation, I really don't know very well what that exactly means, and I feel like I'm changing a little bit much of my strategy pretty soon. And so what I'm going to do is just review it and make sure not to change too much of my strategy all at once, because I feel like that's a recipe for disaster, that I don't really know what order blocks even really are. Same thing with accumulation. So I'm going to spend time reviewing that before I take another trade. And that way, when I take another trade, I believe I'll be much better prepared.